We on? Mm-hmm. Hello, everybody. Steve Politi, Keith Sergeant from NJ.com, doing a live Facebook thing. The technology, Sarge. I mean, this wasn't around when we were, in college.
Definitely 2016.
It's definitely 2016. We're here at the Hale Center in front of the Rose Bowl plaque. No pressure. Chris Ash getting ready for his first press conference to introduce his new coaching staff. And, it's been interesting watching him build this staff from afar. I think he's added a lot of young, energetic guys. You have to like that. They've been active on social media. It looks like they've been dying to hit the ground running. I mean, what sort of things are you looking forward to seeing today from these guys?
I think you kind of buried a lead as typical Steve Politi normally does. Not the first time he's buried a lead, but I think...
Hey, this is my Facebook account, pal. I can cut you off this right in a second.
But when we walked in through the Hale Center, I don't know if you noticed, but pretty much every remnant of the Kyle Flood era has been scrubbed clean.
Really?
If you walk through the Hale Center,
there
used to be. I don't even know if I'm allowed to actually say that those two words in this room.
Scrubbed clean?
No, Kyle Flood. But literally, I mean, there used to be photos of him being interviewed by Bruce Beck and by other holding up the trophies and whatnot. All gone. There's a photo of Chris Ash being interviewed. Like, all of it's gone. I haven't seen any chop or any of the other stuff.
Goodness for that.
The building. So clearly, this is a new era. He's only been on campus for a month, but clearly he's going to do it his own way. And if you really look at the coaching staff,
right.
I mean, that's pretty much the theme of it. I mean, he's hiring his own guys, hiring young, energetic guys who, clearly he has a relationship with or he trusts, and he wanted a clean house right from the get-go.
Let's go through that coaching staff a little bit. First time we were able to meet Drew Merringer, I have to like the way Houston played in the bowl game. I like the way Houston played all season. We have fans who've been dying for a little bit more of an up-tempo attack. Well, after last season, any sort of attack would be up-tempo. But people who are dying for a little energy from the offense, the spread style, move it around, play the way. Most of the best teams in college football are playing right now. You have to love that. I'm interested to see what he says, though, about the lack of experience. 28 years old.
Yep.
That's really young to be a coordinator at this level. What's your take on that?
I think the experience, I do think it's an issue. I think you're right. I do think, I watched a lot of bowl games, 39, 40 bowl games throughout the entire month. And so many teams are running that.
Got a lot of time in your hands, 39 bowl games.
But so many teams are running that offense. I think that it was time for Rutgers to kind of get up with the times and run something like that. I think one big issue is the personnel. They have not recruited personnel to run this type of offense. How long is that going to take? How long is it going to take to actually get offensive linemen who can move around? I don't know. I mean, I think they may have 3 or 4 guys who you could be looking at as a potential starter. I don't know if any of them could play in a spread type offensive line system. That's going to be an issue. Certainly quarterback. I mean, Chris Laviano and Hayden Reddick, they don't strike me as option type, but spread type quarterbacks. I think that could be an issue. That to me is more of an issue. I agree with you. 28 years old, hasn't really done it a whole lot, but to me, I think it's more about a personnel issue right now.
What do you see about, obviously the big news coming into this was Anthony Russo, their star recruit in the 2016 class, decommitting. Apparently now going to visit LSU, which tells you a little bit about how he's regarded nationally. But still, not a fit for this offense. He's a pro-style quarterback. This is the spread. How long do you think it's going to take to find that personnel? Before we talk about Chris Laviano. He was a pretty mobile guy. Does he have the decision-making ability to play that offense? You're right. There are a lot of questions.
How long is it going to take? I don't know. I mean, I talked to one recruiting guy who said that already Drew, if you look at just look at his Twitter account, he's followed a lot of quarterbacks nationally. So maybe he has it in with a quarterback who we don't even know. Who maybe just likes his skill set. Maybe So how long is it going to take? I don't know. I do know that Anthony Russo was a guy who system or whatever style he runs. He impressed a lot of people. He has talent. You always want to bring those types of guys in. That's why, I think it's a bigger loss, and maybe you wrote about today, where you kind of said, "Don't worry, Rutgers fans." And that's I think
as always preaching common patience among the fan base.
No,
someone has to do it.
It's just my thing is if the kid can play, if he's a good enough quarterback to be recruited by LSU, I think it's a loss.
All right, let's move to defense really quickly. Obviously, they need everything and everywhere. What sense do you get? I mean, obviously this is Chris Ash's thing, his side of the ball. We've seen the way Ohio State plays defense. They don't have Joey Bosa here in Rutgers. They don't have the same level of talent. I mean, what do you think from the staff he built here? And How long is that going to take?
Can you play linebacker?
I can, yes.
Yeah, I was going to say, because if you have any eligibility left, I mean, you have a chance to be
5'4", 40.
Because linebacker is the issue where I look. I mean, you graduate, Kyle Lewis, who was a graduate senior, and Steve Longa, and you just look at the names who potential starters. I'm not going to list them, but I mean, it's scary.
Yes.
Secondary is still unproven, and I think defensive line. I think they'll have some talent back, but it's going to be Jay Neiman comes in. As the new defensive coordinator, Chris Ash has already said that he's going to be very, very involved with the defense, certainly with the defensive backs as well. It'll be interesting. I mean, you're talking about a guy who, has had a lot of success running defenses every step of the way. This is a defense that certainly needs some personnel, so it'll be interesting to see the way he looks at it.
Right. It's just overall this entire, and I've been fascinated with the way they've gone about. Clearly, you're not going to win at Rutgers if you don't get most of the in-player states. Fence the garden. Do you like that? How do you feel about that attack? Do you think the fact they didn't hire a New Jersey coach, does that add anything to the challenge in a sense? I mean, a lot of people have said that it would be nice if they had someone who at least knew their way around. Counterbalancing that, hiring Rick Mance was a good move.
I do. I think Rick Mance. He's one in a business where everyone hates each other. He's actually one of the few people who has a lot of respect from Somerset County, Middlesex County, even up north. I think he's the type of guy who could call up a North Jersey coach and say, listen, this is the reason why Chris isn't going to recruit your kid. When it gets down to signing day, when there's only 3 or 4 other guys that he's talking to, and there's a lot of hard feelings that I didn't bring this, you're not bringing my kid in, Rick Mance could call up the coach and say, listen, this is why, and he could bridge that gap. Now, strategy-wise, I do think, now we, as of now, we still don't know about the running back coach. Or it's either running back coach or wide receiver coach. Would probably be a running back coach. In my understanding, it could be a Jersey guy, but I do think that the staff probably needs a little Jersey flavor. It'll be interesting to see what he says about it because apparently, in a meeting with the high school coaches last week, he talked about it, and the coaches came away with it, feeling as long as they hire the right coaches, and good coaches can recruit anywhere. So I do think it would be good to have someone who knows the difference between exit 120 on the Parkway and exit 13A on the Turnpike.
Right. And clearly you're that guy. So there's a lot of newness here, and I think that's the big thing right now is getting to know the coaches. I think there's a lot of excitement. Clearly people are fired up, enthusiasm, and we'll be back afterward with some more talks. Yes, sir?
We have a question.
We have a question from whom?
Matthew Krautheim.
Okay.
He said, I'd like to know if there's any leads on a running back coach or associate head coach.
Any leads on a running back coach or an associate head coach? Is that a position they're going to fill?
Yeah, I mean, Coach Ash indicated late last week that he was going to, he was close on a couple of guys on the running back coach. And we kind of went into the weekend thinking that maybe you had, some of the NFL games, would have something to do with it. I do know that by the time that the players actually arrive back on campus, the Tuesday after Martin Luther King Day, so I guess a week from today, that he wants his entire staff in place. I think that's important. So
could it be a guy that's still in the NFL now?
It could be, yeah. I mean, I've heard a couple of names. I don't really feel comfortable, saying those names right now. I've heard, a couple people, but it sounds like, he's getting close. Could be someone with NFL experience. Could be, maybe someone with who, like I said before, who knows, where the IKEA is over on the airport.
That would be a good start. Any other questions live? This is exciting.
This
we
one
could
just
do this.
came in from Nick Tomlin.
Oh, hi, Nick.
Do you think there are any recruiting surprises on the horizon for this class? Looking for some good news on that front.
That would be interesting. The fact that they lost Russo, I was thinking now, it would be great. And this is the way, going back to people, dating myself here, when Schiano came in and immediately got Ricky, what was his name?
Ricky Cook.
Ricky Cook
from Montclair. Your neck of the woods, right? Yeah.
And it was just, it created a lot of buzz, and obviously Ricky didn't pan out as a player, but it still sort of announced that, okay, look, we're going to keep players here. I haven't heard that yet. Have you seen any signs that could happen?
I'll take it one step further because I recovered a lot of those. I remember like the Brandon Hoyt and Ricky Cook and a bunch of other guys, Piano Lukabu, a bunch of other guys, Jersey guys who were like highly touted guys at the time, coming to the basketball games, coming on those recruiting visits, and it created a ton of buzz. Haven't heard that yet. Again, we have to understand that the dead period is still going on. And so recruiting. I mean, it's 3 weeks away. It feels like signing day is right around the corner, but it hasn't really heated up. To answer the question about surprises, I've heard them trying to get involved with a couple of the top jersey guys. That's probably a better question for Todrick because he covers a heck of a lot more. But I think what you're going to see in the next couple of weeks is them trying to maybe bring in a couple more jersey guys to round out this class.
Right, and they certainly have several slots now that they can fill. Anything else?
Well, first of all, Matthew appreciated my pronunciation of his last name. And he said in the presser if you could ask if they have anything outside of football, the coaches that they're interested in. Because he said Ash's wife said he has no interests outside of football.
All right.
Well, interestingly, when I pulled into the parking lot...
interests? Really? Okay.
Well, I mean, that's what fans want. They want these guys who our coaches are in their lab, their secret lab, devising schemes and recruiting for 18 hours a day. So I think... what's the old adage? The coaches who are good at golf, if the lower their handicap, the more time they're away from, coaching.
That's a good point.
So,
okay.
You don't want the football coach to be, a good golfer. So, I mean, you want them, working all day, right?
Right.
But it's interesting because when I pulled into the parking lot, there was a little Jeep. I don't know if you saw it. I don't know if you parked over there.
Yes.
With an Ohio State tire cover. Right. So as soon as we pulled in, the Ohio State flavor.
I slashed it. Don't worry, it's gone now.
So
that's a good note 10. Unless you got another question, no. All right, guys. Thanks for coming to our Facebook chat. We'll do this again sometime, right? A long time before the season, so we've got lots of dead time to fill. Maybe signing day. How about it?
Don't remind me.
Thanks.